It's the next morning. It's a Saturday morning. I thought that I should take some time to talk about some of the books I've read. Kim Ji-young, born 1982, by a novel by Cho Nam Joo. This is like one of the top books that almost every list recommends when it comes to like translated fiction from Korea. I heard about this book when one of these like, I think one of the girl group members of Red Velvet was recommending this book, and then some fans got so mad at her that they burned her merch. It was very frustrating to read the book because I related so much to it. That's what was so frustrating about it. That anyone under the same circumstances can go crazy. I mean, I can feel that. I realize that maybe it's just me, but I'm realizing a lot of motifs about like mothers in the stuff that I've been reading. So I've been reading Kim Ji-young, I've been reading Please Look After Mother by Kyung-suk-shin, and then I also read like Human Acts by Kang, and I'm also reading this like short story collection called The Future of Silence that's by like women authors in South Korea. And yeah, like this motif of a mother is just like so strong, and I don't know whether that's true, like in all, like whether that's a really resounding motif in like Korean literature, or maybe it's just my picks for like specifically this time. But if you feel like there are other motifs that are featured a lot more prominently, let me know as well. But at the end, like the story didn't end with anything that was hopeful. It was just more of like, oh, we have to like look at the patient again, rather than look at the circumstances that made the patient this way. How a lot of people react, like when I speak up about certain things, the feedback that I'll get would be like, you just have to be more gracious, you just have to be more accepting, you just have to dress more modestly, you just have to keep in your lane, rather than like, oh yeah, they should have listened to you, or they shouldn't have acted that way to you, or like they should have been more understanding of your circumstances. And I think this goes to any like minority group, really, across like race, gender, sexuality, like, nationality as well. Like, it isn't just like based on gender. This is always happening to people who are marginalized, and I think that's really, really upsetting. That really has a huge psychological toll on people. And I didn't expect to be thinking so much about like my identity as a woman in my experience here. So yeah, I'm gonna go finish up my scone. Yeah, I'll see you, and bye. Off to the bookstores. Go. Hi everyone. I'm at Seokpajung and I did not expect that there would be an entire freaking like garden here. And it's really quiet here. It's Saturday morning. I mean, pretty much afternoon. It's like 12 p.m. And I don't know whether it's like my hunger or whether it's like the weather or whether it's that freaking music that you hear in the background. I'm getting so sentimental and I might just cry right now, but I am not gonna cry. No. Everything is in Korean, so there's no English whatsoever. Just keep that in mind. If you do want to come here, I do think it's very much worth a visit. Very beautiful place. Yeah, and I just had a existential breakdown here. Nothing new. But yeah, super beautiful place. After a very emotional morning, I was just craving something really comforting, and that's when I stumbled upon this restaurant called Mom's Kitchen. It's at the corner of a street, and it's a Japanese style restaurant that is run by a mother, I think. The ingredients were very homemade. I ordered the rice gratin, not sure if I pronounced that right, but it's basically baked cheese over rice. It was served with a bowl of miso soup as well. And I really loved this meal and this restaurant in particular. The restaurant definitely had a very quaint vibe to it, sort of unassuming and just quietly existing in the corner, which basically describes my life, really. This is me trying to enjoy my meal and dropping my phone, haha. Here's me trying to show you a piece of the meal that I had. Look at that cheese. I mean, I usually don't eat dairy, but this was probably the closest thing to vegetarian they had on the menu. And this coffee jelly, let me tell you, was so heavenly. I still think about it until now. Like, this coffee jelly was best thing I had.
Wow, look at that. I lie watching you go. 밖으로 보이는 조그만 점이 먼지만큼 작아지도록 뚫어지게 쳐다보는 게 아빠나 마음은 똑같겠지만 이게 어딜 봐서 비슷한 걸까. 난 이마 대신 입에 맞추네. Kiss 평소 안 잊고 있던 kiss 이제야 생각이 났네. 조금 더 적극적이네. 네가 잠든 모습을 사랑해. 하지만 우리 누운 침대 보안 산막에 봐 사막에 박여 있나 봐. 난 네가 학교 가는 뒷모습이 너무 좋아. I like watching you go. 밖으로 보이는 조그만 점이 먼지만큼 작아지도록.
If you asked me what was the best meal I had in Seoul, it would be this jjampong from Hagung, which is a Chinese Korean cuisine restaurant. I found this restaurant on a vegan website, but they didn't really have vegan items on the menu, so you have to ask the store owner if they have vegetarian options, or you could ask for chae-shik, which is like vegetarian. And so they served up this vegetarian version of jjampong, which was really one of the best renditions of a noodle dish that is vegan I ever had in my life. The mushrooms were sort of roasted. The onions were delicious. There were just so many pieces of vegetables in this dish, and I wolfed it down. Like, I really ate almost everything, and the portion is huge, but I enjoyed this meal so much. I felt so full, but so satisfied. Look at the amount of mushrooms. Look at that. Delicious. Hi, it's late at night and I just finished drinking tea. I did finish reading The Future is Silent, which is a collection of short stories by women authors in South Korea, and I found some of the stories quite repetitive, with like the motifs of mother and daughter, but maybe that's really what is very important to Korean women. There was this one story that really struck me, which was the identical apartment story. Spoiler alert, the story is such that there's this woman that goes through this really typical get married and become a stay-at-home mother wife thing, and then she gets into this really complicated relationship with her neighbor, not a romantic sense, but a really an obsession with her neighbor. Her neighbor is like a mirror to her, like a foil, and you're not sure whether it's projection. The story kind of ends with her having sex with her neighbor's husband, committing an affair, but the neighbor's husband doesn't know, doesn't recognize that the woman isn't his wife, and so he sleeps with her, and then she tucks her neighbor's kids into their beds. When she went home, she didn't feel like she committed anything bad. She felt like a virgin. That's how it ended. The story ended with her feeling like a virgin. This story made me understand the freaking mundane insanity of housewives. Anyway, I'll share more once I get back home. I have a lot of thoughts. about housewives. Yeah. The book is called The Future of Silence, Fiction by Korean Women. It's translated and edited by Bruce and Ju Chan Fulton. And the chapter that I was talking about is Identical Apartments by Park Won-soo. The stories in this collection does give me a bit of the same kind of uncanniness I felt when I was reading The Vegetarian. Reading these stories made me think about that mundanity that comes with housemaking. Nowadays, like, if the woman is the one that's like providing for the family, again, in like heterosexual marriages and things like that, people are more accepting of that nowadays, but it's almost like no hesitation or like no questioning when it becomes like man equals breadwinner and then woman is like the stay-at-home, kind of like doing domestic labor. You know, domestic labor is a lot of work. You spend the whole day doing housework. Like in the morning you might have to clean up the place, you might have to do the vacuuming, the mopping, the laundry needs to be done like almost every day if you're living in a household of like more than like 4 people. There are 3 meals to be prepared a day. Well, if you're lucky you can skip breakfast, but there's still 2 meals that you have to prepare. There's groceries to be bought. There's like things like clothes to be ironed. There's like toilets that need to be cleaned. And I'm not good necessarily at these domestic things. Like, it's a lot of work and like it's not a natural disposition to want to do housework. I don't believe it's like a gendered disposition to want to do housework. So much of it has been tied to my experience growing up as a woman, like to be good at domestic work, to be able to run a household, to be able to like cook food. And of course, like, no one says this explicitly to women. A lot of it is like implied. Like, a lot of it is just like, oh, that's just the way it is. Or like, no one bats an eye if you do it, right? Like in the story of Kim Ji-young, when she had to quit her job to become a stay-at-home mother, like, no one questioned it. That was the frustration that she felt, that her sacrifice was so trivial. Like, her sacrifice was not appreciated because it was seen as like natural. It was seen as like, yeah, like, you know, that's what almost like 100% of women do, like mothers do, and like there's no way you can't go crazy from that. Having read this like arc or this like story trope in like 4 or 5 different stories by now, and I saw this like video at the exhibition earlier today. This artist took a slow-mo video of like a mother patting her child, and at some points like the mother's expression like morphs into things that you can't really describe. Like, sometimes it looks like she's in pain, sometimes it looks like she's relieved, sometimes it looks like she's burdened, and like she goes through all these like micro expressions in the span of like seconds. And I just felt really frustrated because that's what society paints the highest purpose of women to be. It's to be mothers, and I don't want to believe that. Like, I really don't want to believe that. I do believe that, you know, for humankind to want to love the next generation, to nurture them, is really one of the greatest goods that people can do. But to say that a woman's highest purpose is to have children, to become a mother, I don't agree with that. And it just really, it just really upsets me. I just feel really upset. Like, I just feel so frustrated. I don't know what else to say. Cheers to that, my friends. Gonna finish up my makgeolli, and I'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, we're checking out another museum tomorrow morning. Is that surprising? No, at this point you shouldn't be surprised anymore. And I think I'm drinking too much. Okay, bye. Hi, I am at Seoul Land, and I have some hodopang, like walnut bread, and I'm rushing because I have to be somewhere at 1 p.m. and there's no time for lunch. So I'm like running to the museum now. It's the National Museum, Gwacheon, I think. And yeah, I don't know why I'm recording this. I think it's kind of funny. I'm literally running to a museum. I'm not literally running. I'm almost running to a museum. Oh, I'm so shaky. This is kind of cute. Wow. Guys, this place is so beautiful and I only have half an hour to enjoy this space. But please come here in your own time and spend like at least the whole afternoon here. I recommend like at least 3-4 hours because this place is a bit out of the way and you can enjoy the museum, you can enjoy the outdoor park, sculpture garden. You can also enjoy the freaking beautiful lake. I think this place would be so lovely like in the autumn time or at least like in the summertime where everything is so green. Now everything is pretty like dark and grey but still beautiful.
최근 기술인 OLED 모니터 보시죠. 무궁무진한 가장 최근 기술이고 굉장히 얇고 선명.
I can't believe it's the last day. I kept my schedule pretty open for this day. I've been reading The Republic is Calling You. I am actually quite enjoying Kim Young-ha's like writing so far. The story is told like in a chronological manner in the sense that it tracks this one day when where like a North Korean spy receives an order from the Republic. It kind of tracks the entire day till the timing that he's supposed to like report back. There's quite a lot of twists and turns. Hopefully I get to finish the novel by today and then I can give you like a quick review before like I conclude my entire trip. And that reminds me, I didn't finish Please Look After Mother by Kyung Suk Shin. I kind of just put it on hold in favor of reading The Republic is Calling You. Today there's not much to do, and maybe when like the night winds down and I have to, you know, finish up my packing, then maybe I'll check back in with you all. Thanks for joining me and I will see you. I took longer than I thought. Like, it's almost midnight. And I had a little chat with my Airbnb host as well as like the other guests here, so that was really nice. Yeah, but I just wanted to say thanks for being here, I guess, somewhat in a very like abstract way. I'm gonna end the vlog here. I am gonna finish reading The Republic is Calling You, and I am very interested in this Kim Yong-ha novelist. I think I would definitely check out his other works. And I guess that's one big thing that I learned from this like trip, is that I found some Korean authors that I do want to follow. So that is a great thing in my books. Anyway, thank you. Very grateful. And I'm very ready to get home. So see you in my next video. Hopefully cuddling with my cat and talking about more books. Bye.